Welcome to the class. Let's start with the new topic, that is the classification of animals based on their habitat. As you know, we have discussed in the previous class that there are various criteria to classify the animals, right? So what are the criteria to classify the animals? So in this session, we have discussed that there are mainly three criteria to classify these animals. So the first criteria was based on the presence and absence of backbone. The second criteria was based on their food habits, how they are eating food, right? What kind of food they are taking. Now the third criteria is where they are living. What is the natural habitat? So based on their habitat, we are classifying these animals, right? So now let's start with the new topic, that is the animals and their habitat. So what do you mean by the habitat? See, whenever we are observing, one kind of animal will be there. So these animals are found everywhere on the earth. You know that around your home, when you go to the forest area, when you go to the mountain area, right? When you go to the cold region, some kind of animals will be there. So most of the places are there in which we can find out animals. Different kind of animals will be there, right? So the surrounding or the environment in which an animal use and survive is called its habitat. So wherever the animal is living, wherever the place the animal is using for their purpose, right? Where they are living in their natural form, that is called their habitat. So remember this thing, that the surrounding or the environment in which an animal use and survive, right? So wherever the animal is living and surviving, that area, that environment, that surrounding is called, yes, habitat. So now based on this surrounding, based on their environment, we are going to classify this animals. So see, animals develop certain features which helps them to survive in their specific habitat. See, whenever we are living on land, so we are having different features to adapt that, right? So what kind of features we have? See, in the year, we are having different three seasons, right? So summer, winter and monsoon. So according to season, we are trying to adapt that kind of environment. If the winter season is there, then we will wear jackets or sweaters. If the summer season is there, then we will wear cotton clothes, right? And if the monsoon season is there, to prevent ourselves, we will wear raincoat, right? So this kind of adaptations we are doing to survive in that kind of environment. So every animal have to do some kind of adaptations, right? To survive in that particular area, to use their habitat, right? So they are developing certain features. So based on this habitat, we are having normally five types of animals. How many types of animals are there? Five types of animals based on their habitat. So the first is terrestrial animal. How will you pronounce? Terrestrial animals. The second is aquatic animals. See, the first is terrestrial animal. The second is aquatic. What do you mean by aquatic? Yes, aqua is related to water. So the animals which are living in water, they are called aquatic animals. Now the third, amphibians. How will you pronounce this? Amphibians. Clear these things to you? You have to make sure that you are pronouncing it properly. The fourth one is there, arboreal animals. How will you pronounce? Arboreal animals. And the fifth classification type, that is aerial animals. So there are mainly five types of the animals based on their habitat. So the first was terrestrial, the second aquatic, the third amphibians, fourth arboreal, and fifth, that is aerial. Clear these things? You know the meaning of this thing? Yes. So this terrestrial, it is related to land. This aquatic is related to water. Amphi is something new. What is our rule? To understand something, we have to split that word into two parts. So amphi is there and beings is there. So what do you mean by amphi and beings? So the animals which can live on land as well as in water. See, whenever you heard about the amphi, that is a dual characteristic, right? Just like your mobile phone having dual camera, that is in front and back, right? So just like that, the animals which can live in two places, they are having the adaptations to live in two places, right? At different time, not at the same time. If animal is living on land, right? And after some time it can live in water too. So there are two features, there are two adaptation features so that they can live on two lands, right? One is land and another is water. And the arboreal. See, whenever we heard something about the arboreal, that is related to tree. So the animals which are living on tree are called arboreal animals. Clear? And the aerial animals. So what do you mean by aerial? See, aerial, that is not related to washing powder. Na? So that is something which is related to air. So the animals which are living most of the time in air, they are called aerial animals. I know that you know the examples. Now you know the meaning of these words, so you will be knowing the examples of this. That we can find out cow, goat, these are living on land, so they are the terrestrial one. Fish is living in water, so that will be aquatic. Land and water. Do you know the any example of the animal which can live in water as well as on land? You know? Yes, you can find out frogs which can live on land as well as inside or in the water. Then arboreal. Do you know any example of the animal which can live on trees? Have you find out any example of this animal? Yes. Which animal you can see on trees? Yes, that is monkey. You know one example, that is monkey. Most of the times these monkeys are living on trees. And aerial animals, aerial that is living in air, right? So the birds are spending their most of their time in air. That's why they are called aerial animals. Clear these things? But now we are going to learn these things in detail, somewhat detail. Okay? So are you ready? Okay, let's start with that. See, the first category is aerial or terrestrial. What do you want to learn? Yes. So in this one, we are going to learn the first thing, that is the terrestrial animal, right? So the terrestrial, as we have discussed, the terrestrial animals are the animals which live on land. So whenever you heard about this terrestrial, you have to keep this thing in mind, that the terrestrial, that means the animals which are living on land. As we have discussed in the plant session too, that the terrestrial plant, right? This terrestrial plant are living on land. Then most of these animals have legs which helps them to run fast. See, as we are having legs, so just like us, most of the animals, see, I am not saying all the animals, we are using most of the animals. So most of the animals are having legs, right? Because they have to run to get the things, right? So many things they have to do. So for that purpose, they are having legs. And they have to run fast to catch their prey or to protect themselves from becoming free of other animals. Okay, see, that is not about free, right? That is, if something is preying them, right? If they are becoming prey of someone, then they have to prevent themselves to becoming free, right? They have to make themselves free, right? Why? Because as you know, if some animal, that is a large animal, is there in front of you, then how will you survive? You have to run very fast, na? So for that purpose, all the animals, most of the animals have to keep themselves free. Why they have to keep themselves free? Yes, because they have to run very fast to prevent themselves, right? Because so many animals are there which can hunt them. So for that self, they have to keep themselves running, right? That's why they are having strong legs. They breathe through well-developed lungs. They are having lungs feature, right? Through lungs, as we are having lungs, you know, na, that humans are having lungs. So just like us, all the animals are having lungs through which they can breathe very well. These are the lungs which you can find in most of the animals. Then another characteristic, that is they have sharp teeth. Do you have your teeth? Right? So just like us, they also have sharp teeth with pointed canines. Canines and sharp claws. See, claws, that means to hold something, right? So as we are having our fingers and toes, but these terrestrial animals are having claws to hold something very tightly, right? To keep their balance, right? So for that purpose, they are having the teeth, that is a sharp canines. That is a type of teeth. So this canine is a type of teeth that is a sharp. And the another thing, that is sharp claws to hold something and to catch their prey. If they are catching their prey, then they have to hold it, right? So for catch and that holdment, they require this sharp claws. Then what is the next? These animals have well developed sense organ. You know na sense organs? What kind of sense organs are there? It is like sense and nonsense? No. See, as we are having skin, so we can feel someone has touched us, right? As we are having our ears, so you can listen me. I am having my mouth, so I can speak it. But what about the sense? That is skin, ear, eyes, nose, tongue. So these things are sense organs. Skin, which can feel, nose, which can smell, ears, which can hear or listen, and this eyes, which can see. So these are the sense organ. So just like that, most of the animals will be having some kind of sense organ which helps them to look for food in the dark night or by mere movement of their prey. So they can see, right? They can feel something is moving. They can feel something is going on, right? So just like that, they can feel something is there and they can find their food too, right? As you know, if this sweet thing is there, so ant will be there, right? Ant will be running there. Why? Because they know some kind of smell is there related to sweet. So they will go and run fast to catch it, right? So just like that, they are having some adapted features to get their food and to live in that kind of environment. Now the next thing is that is a hibernation, right? So what is the hibernation? That is something important and you have to remember that part too. See, a very special adaptation to combat winter. What we are saying? To combat winter by many animals is called hibernation. So hibernation is the process, hibernation is the special adaptations with which the animals are adapting, they are trying to combat in the winter season. They can survive in the winter season, right? So how can they survive? What kind of adaptation feature is there? So let us understand. See, some animal like snake, lizard, frog cannot bear the cold winter. We can bear the cold winter. Why? Because we are wearing the jackets, sweaters, mufflers and all these things to prevent ourselves from cold. But this frog, snake, lizard, they can't wear any kind of jackets. They can't wear any kind of things like coat and all the things, right? So how they will survive? They are not having that kind of adaptation features so that they can survive in this winter region. So for that purpose, they have to prevent themselves from this cold winter. So what they will do? So they stuff themselves with lots of food during the summer and get fed. See, now we are talking how they can survive in winter. So to survive themselves in winter season, they will eat lots of amount of food in summer season. And if they are eating so many things at a time, they will get fat, right? So you know that these animals become inactive during this winter. So they have stored their energy, they have stored their food in their stomach during summer season. Now, if they are not finding any kind of food in winter season, that will be okay. Why? Because they cannot survive in that much cold region. So they will do the preparation in summer season only. They will take lots of amount of food in the summer season and becoming fat. In the winter season, they will become inactive because they cannot survive very well. So they will not do any kind of activity which they are performing in their routine in winter season, right? So this winter sleep. So during winter, they become inactive and they will sleep. So this winter sleep is called hibernation, right? Why these animals are doing hibernation? Because they cannot survive themselves in the winter seasons. So they will take lots of amount of food in the summer season and they will become fat, right? So after that time, they have stored their food, they have stored their energy so that they can utilize that things in winter season because at that time they will become inactive, but the respiration process, the digestion process which is there in the body, for that purpose they don't have to go anywhere, right? Because they have previously stored the food. So that's why during winter season they require some energy, so for that purpose they will storing what? Food in the summer season. And during winter, they will sleep, right? As you know, whenever you are sleeping, your digestion process, your respiration process, and your thinking process, something is going on inside your body, right? Your physiological body will be doing their processes. So, for that part, they require some energy, and they will get this energy from their stored food. And this winter sleep, because they want to prevent themselves from cold winter, they will sleep. And this winter sleep is called hibernation. As you can see in this picture, normally the frog is living like this. But during winter, can you see this hole? This burrow-like structure is there. Inside that, frog will sleep for winter, right? So during whole winter, the frog is sleeping. Why? Because they don't want to face this kind of winter season. They are not having this much adaptations. See, if you don't want to work for something, then you will sleep, na? So just like that, these frogs cannot handle this much cold. So for that time, they will get sleep. And this winter sleep is called hibernation. Now the next adaptation, that is the estivation. So what do you mean by the estivation? So the animals in the desert go for a long summer sleep as the summer is hot and with very little food and water. See, you know that desert region is feeling very hot and during summer it becomes very hot, right? More than that. So for that reason they will not be having that much amount of water and that much amount of food. So the animals which are living in that region will try to wade away from the harsh summer heat to save themselves and to save water and to combat scarcity of food. The animals will sleep in the holes and burrow. See, as we have seen for the hibernation, that animals will hide themselves and animals will sleep, right, for this winter. That was hibernation. But now to make themselves free from that much amount of heat, they will hide themselves inside some holes or burrow like things. So that summer sleep is known as estivation. Why? Because they want to prevent themselves from that scarcity of food and water. During summer, in the desert region, the least amount of water will be there, right? So to prevent themselves, they will do the things like this. What kind of things? That is a summer sleep, right? So that is called estivation. Clear? Okay. Now see, what do you observe in this one? Snail is there, hedgehog is there, tortoise is there, frog is there, crocodile is there, lemur is there, lungfish is there. These are the examples of the animals of the terrestrial, right? Now see, in these animals are doing summer sleep too. Clear? Now see, animals like walrus, seals, and penguins also live in freezing conditions. See, these animals you can find out in cold region, right? So they can survive in freezing conditions. And these animals have special adaptation called blubber. How will you pronounce? Blubber. Okay. So this blubber condition is there. This blubber adaptation is there. So what do you mean by this blubber? That is a thick layer of fat. As you know that our skin is there to protect ourselves, right? from the outer region, or you can say the environment. So to protect themselves from that cold, they are having the thick layer of fat. As we wear the jackets, so we'll not feel that much amount of cold, right? So naturally these animals are having thick layer of fat so that they don't have to run very fast, or they don't have to run to prevent themselves from cold, because anywhere they will go they will be cold region, right? So for that purpose they are having the blubber adaptations, that is a thick layer of fat on the skin, so that they will not feel that much amount of cold. It will keep themselves warm. Now the second category, that was amphibians. As you know, we are discussing the classification of animals based on their habitat. So now this is related to amphibians. So what do you mean by the amphibians? That can live in both the condition, that is on land as well as in water. You know this? On land and water. See, amphi you know. Amphi is dual characteristic, and beings, they are living somewhere. So they are living in dual things. See, they have special adaptations for the life in both the habitats, as well as on land and in water. So what kind of features they are having? So special features that make them a perfect amphibian is the lungs. See now what kind of special features they are having? The lungs to breathe on land. See, as we are living on land, so we are having lungs to breathe, right? We are respiring, we are doing inhalation of oxygen and exhalation of carbon dioxide. So what is the surface area which is providing this one? Yes, that is inside the lungs. And the second adaptation is moist skin to breathe in water, because as they are living in water as well as on land, so they should be having two features, because only with the lungs you cannot survive in water too. When you know that whenever you go for the swimming in long distances, you have to wear your oxygen mask, right? To survive. But these animals can continuously live in water too. So for that purpose, they should be having some features, right? They cannot wear that oxygen mask, right? So how they will survive? Based on their moist skin. That will be something slippery, or you can say wet things, right? So that they can get easily dissolved oxygen from the water itself, right? So for that part, they are having two special adaptation feature, that is lungs as well as moist skin. Now see, the back legs of frogs are stronger than their front legs. This helps them to jump. As you want to jump from one place to another place, you have to keep your strength on back part, right? So just like that, frogs are having four legs in them. So the back legs and the front legs will be there. But this back legs are more stronger than the front one, right? Why? Because they have to jump like this. So for that part, that back legs will be more stronger. They have webbed feet, which help them to swim in water. As you can see, these are the legs. See, this is the front and this is the back. So these legs are more stronger. And this is called webbed feet, because they have to swim in water. As you know, some jalparis are there, na? Have you seen any cartoon in which you can find out this kind of things? Yes. So this fishes, or you can say most of the fishes will be having some fins-like structure so that they can swim. But if this frog is living in the water and if it wants to swim in the water, then so for that purpose they are having this webbed feet, right? This flat kind of feet will be there, which will help them to swim in water region. Now the third is arboreal animals. So what do you mean by the arboreal animals? Yes. So the arboreal animals are the animals that spend most of their time on trees. See, how do you pronounce this? Arboreal. And arboreal is related to trees. Okay. So most of the time they will spend on trees are called arboreal animals. These animals have sharp and strong claws. See, as you know, claws, right? They have to catch something and they have to hold it to cling or hold on tightly to the branches of the tree as they are living on trees. So they should be having some holding capacity so that they can stay there, right? So for that purpose, they are having the strong claws. Then see, monkeys are the example of this. So this monkeys use their long muscular tail to coil around branches when they move from one branch to another branch. See, as you know, if the tree structure is like this, right? So there will be so many branches and this monkeys will move from one branch to another branch. So for that purpose, they have to coil their tail structure like this so that they can easily move from one branch to another branch, right? So strong claws will be there. Monkeys will be having that tail-like structure to coil around the, yes, branches. And what are the example? Koala bear. That is another example of this. So you know this one. This koala bear is spending most of their time on trees. They are sleeping on the trees. They are living on the trees. So they will spend most of their time on trees. Now see the aerial animals. That is the another category of the animals which is based on their habitat. So what do you mean by the aerial animals? Yes, as we have discussed, that is not about the washing powder. That is related to air. So the animals which spend most of their time in air, they are called aerial animals. Clear? So flying is the main characteristic of this group. As you know that if they want to stay in air, then they should be having some flying adaptations. So for this flying adaptation, what they have to do? Yes, they have to flip their wings. And for that part, they should be having wings, na? So these are the adaptative features of the aerial animals. So most of the birds belong to this group. See, these birds, that is bat. Bat is mammal, right? Bat is example of mammal which can fly, right? So this birds and bats are belonging to this group. The body of the bird is made light with hollow light bones. As you know that bone structure is light, right? Because they have to fly in the air. So for that purpose, you know, whenever you are going to some flight, they will give you some amount of weight to carry with you, right? It will be proper so that you can fly very well. You can fly in the flight very well because we are not having wings, so we cannot fly. But whenever something is flying, it should be light in weight. And for that purpose, they are having the hollow bones too. Then their front legs are modified into wings. See, as you know that birds will be having wings to fly, which help them to fly. Then their bodies are covered with feathers, right? Why their body is covered with feathers? To provide them protection and to make them beautiful. Clear these things? Okay. Now see, they have well developed lungs to breathe in air. Whenever they are living in the air, so they have to breathe properly. So for that part, they are having lungs like us. They have sharp claws to hold on branches. See, just like arboreal, they have to catch something, they have to hold their things, right? So for that part, they are having the sharp claws to hold on branches part. And claws of eagle are specially designed to catch their prey. So whenever you find something eagle, right? Whenever you find some eagles, so these eagles are having the sharper claws and they are having the bigger claws. So that is some special thing about the eagle so that they can catch men too. Yes, they can catch us too. They are having that much capacity. See, these are the bird, bat and insects. This all the animals can fly. So these are the example of aerial animals. So in this session we have discussed, yes, terrestrial animals, then arboreal, then this aerial animal and amphibians. Clear these things to you? Okay, good.